Alright, so today I'm going to be speedrunning Cao Cao's Musou mode, and the Hero of Chaos is actually one of the easier Musou mode runs in the game, because most of them are just running straight to the enemy commander and taking him out, with a few exceptions. You know, a few of them have gates, one of them you have to go through water, so you have stuff like that, but most of it's just very straightforward, and that's pretty much the theme for all of these scenarios that I'm going to be talking about today. Hulao Gate is the first one that Cao Cao has, and so Hulao Gate's just one of those scenarios that play out the same no matter who you're really playing as long as it's on the allied side. It's proved that the eastern side of the map is actually the best route to take when you're trying to get to Hulao Gate as fast as possible. And then once you're there, you can use a heavy jump tactic to get over the gate and kill a lot of time that way. There's also a gate glitch required, but it's not too hard to do if you just follow my exact movements. I did find this gate glitch to be a little less consistent than the ones on Jing Province, like some of the other ones, but I also find it important to mention that there's another way to avoid Hulao Gate by jumping up a hill. And I just recently found this out very recently. Oldies to Go discovered it a while ago, but he didn't publish it very often. He didn't talk about it or use it a lot, so I didn't even find it out until fairly recently. But I didn't even try doing that with Cao Cao here. I don't know if it's possible with Cao Cao because I recorded this a little bit ago, so I didn't know about it at the time. But when it comes to Dang Zhuo, he's not on a horse. He's the only commander, I'm pretty sure, in this whole Musou mode run that isn't on a horse. So this is usually the more consistent speed run, and it's nice because it starts off the run and everything like that. There's usually not too many problems here.
Last bastion of defense for the Imperial Court. Never imagined I would fight to destroy it. However, we cannot save the Han if we shirk from this duty. Loyal people of the Han, let us fight.
I give no trying to do it by yourself is a fool. Such a fool cannot beat me. My ambition cannot be stopped. My ambition cannot be stopped. My dream is just out of reach. Just out of... My ambition cannot be stopped.
Well fought, my friends. We have achieved victory.
I seek the future. None shall stop.
Guan is another pretty simple one. There's a lot of jumping, but you pretty much just go in a straight line to Yuan Shao's main camp. I also found the timing of the water jump to be especially important, because limiting the time that you're in the water is super important to maintaining a good time on this scenario. If you spend a little bit extra time in the water, or you spend too much time in the water, you're not going to get nearly as much of a good time. That's the easiest way you can kind of fail this one. I noticed that there is a big time difference when you specifically do the exact movements that I do here, rather than jumping a little bit to the left, which would end up with you in the water for longer, just because of where it ends and the distance between the player and where it's jumping to. Yuan Shao also spawns on a horse. That messes me up a lot. This happened a lot in the scenario, and I'll touch on it probably in each one. But sometimes the commanders will really just want to stay on their horse, and it can be... it can really just mess up an entire run, so it can be a little bit annoying here and there, but this run actually went smooth. I didn't have a problem. Yuan Shao was being nice for now, so I was pretty happy about that.
If not for you, the Yuans would have shined.
My ambition cannot be stopped. Farewell, Yuan Shao. I will continue my path of conquest. I will never forget you. out. Let our numbers overwhelm them.
GB is a tricky one because there's so many ways that the player can actually attempt to get to the enemy main camp. When I first started running the speedrun, I didn't even know the best route to do. Usually the best route is taking the west side and going down south from like South's main camp. That's generally been the most consistent way to run this mode. However, there's like, you can go the eastern route. You can even go like kind of between there where you jump in the water and you pull off. I found that you can actually jump off the boats. You can go across and arrive, basically there's a staircase to the west of where the altar's at, and you can actually do a heavy jump to get up the cliff to where the altar's at, so you up where like Lu Meng spawns at, and then from there you can just run straight to the enemy main camp. But because you're traveling through water, that's actually slower than doing what I did here, which is just going down, you know, south from his main camp and going down the western side of the map and hitting the gong, and then, you know, obviously having the boat move and then traveling south, going to his main camp. That's the fastest for Cao. I tried doing other things, it didn't really work out. A lot of attempts there, but this has been generally the best way to do it. And also, you know, this is another one where the commander spawns on a horse, so, you know, that messed me up plenty of times as well.
I give no what an eyesore. My ambition cannot be stopped. My ambition cannot be stopped.
This is not the end. I shall return to finish this later.
My ambition cannot be stopped. The armies of Wu were nothing to fear. Let us celebrate our victory. I seek the future. None shall stop.
Mounting Jin is a very straightforward one. There's only like two possible routes you could take to get to the enemy main camp, east and west, and the east one you have to go through a gate. It's shorter, but it has a gate basically, and the west one is longer, but it doesn't have a gate. So that's kind of the only two routes you can really take. I found it to be faster with certain officers with true speed going the west route, but officers without true speed seem to be faster by going through the gate. So that's just something that I noticed after just hundreds and hundreds of attempts on this one. The enemies at the gate can sometimes mess you up when you're trying to break through it, but oftentimes I'm actually able to defeat the officer by just running them over while I'm going to the gate. So if you're able to pull that off, it's usually not too bad at all. And the main concern then is just Liu Bei getting off his horse in time. But I've also had it, you know, there's plenty of times where you're trying to break through a gate and an officer can kind of cause some trouble there and eat up some time by, you know, distracting you a little bit or whatever.
I cannot lose to you.
My ambition cannot be stopped. Liu Bei is pulling out of Hanzhong now. We have claimed victory. I seek the future. None shall stop. So, Liu Bei, you will not be defeated so easily, will you? If was a desperate battle.
They cut me off! I should have seen through this trick of Zhou Fei's!
The enemy leader Cao Shu has fallen for our plan. He believed Zhou Fang's surrender and entered Guan Castle.
We must aid Cao Shu, who's besieged at Guan Castle.
I always thought Shi Ting was faster when you go through the gate, just the gate that spawns like right in front of you, and you can take the shorter path that's actually a shorter path by distance over to the enemy main camp, but it's actually a longer path by time. By doing that, because you have to break through the gate, I don't know if you can get, sometimes the gates will be, you'll go up to a gate sometimes and it'll have damage already taken onto it, which is like a random chance thing. So sometimes you'll have gates, this happens on the Yellow Turban Rebellion, you spawn in, you run straight to the gate, sometimes it'll be like 75% destroyed, sometimes it'll be 25% destroyed. That can make a big difference on time. I don't know if I was just getting unlucky on those gates or what. Maybe if you have like a gate that's already almost destroyed and you run up to it, you break it, you get through very quickly. Maybe that's a little bit faster that way for Cao Cao, but that's very dependent on the variable there with how much damage the game decides to distribute to the gate, and so it's kind of risky doing that on the second to last run here in the Musou mode. So I usually don't take too many chances on the later runs. It's usually on the earlier ones I take a little bit more high risk, high reward type of strategies like that. I'm sure it could be faster if you get lucky with that gate in some way, but I just couldn't get it to happen when I kept attempting it, so I went with doing the same strat that Oldies to Go was using. You know, you just go around and then you go to the eastern side of the map and you just run all the way down to the enemy commander. Not too hard, but you know, this is another one. Once again, the enemy commander spawns on a horse. That's also messed me up plenty of times. Zhang plays out exactly the same as the individual record run does, just, you know, without a special ability with True Speed. You just take the central route south, and you only have to break through one gate before targeting Liu Bei's main camp. It would be cool to find out a way to avoid taking the gate, like if you could do a heavy jump or some type of glitch to avoid that gate, maybe jumping up a cliff, similar to how you can do on Hu Lao. But I haven't been able to find it out. Oldies hasn't found it out. Nobody has. So just right now, this is the best way to run this map. And it was a good cherry on top for this Musou mode. It went very well and I was able to break the record. So I'm pretty satisfied with this one. I felt like the hardest part for me in this entire mode was just getting those commanders to jump off the horses. There's so many of them in this one. So that was really the biggest problem I have. That's also why I touched on it a lot in this. I know I mentioned it multiple times, but the only reason why I did that is because that's been the consistent hardest part for me this whole time, is really just the game wanting it to work out or not giving me the speedrun record when they want the commander to sit on the horse for an extra 10 seconds or so. Sometimes they just don't want to get off at all, so you kind of have to try to kill them while they're on the horse, but that doesn't exactly always work out as efficiently. If anybody's ever tried that, I mean, it's just kind of a pain in the ass sometimes to try to kill them up there. So I'm pretty satisfied with this one, but I can see this lowered by about 15 seconds with current strategies. You know, I made some mistakes here and there in this run, just like simple stuff, you know, nothing too bad. But if there are new discoveries, like what I talked about on Zhang, maybe you could avoid that gate, then I'm sure you could get an even lower time by maybe a little bit larger margin. But yeah, I feel good about it. I'm quite satisfied. So thank you for watching, and I appreciate the support.
I seek the future. None shall stop.